Hey guys, it's Eric here. So now that you've learned about some of the environmental factors that surround the boardwalk, it is time that we move on to the next step of the engineering design process, where we will define the problem and create a design and brief. To start, we know the problem that we want to address, and that is designing a boardwalk for the North Beach. However, it is not as simple as just designing the boardwalk. We have to take into account certain design constraints and design criteria for this to be considered successful. So for starters, let's talk about criteria for success. To be considered successful, we need to construct a boardwalk that provides vehicular access to the cottages, which means that we'll need a design that can support the weight of a truck. We'll also want to make sure that the cottages are accessible to mobility impaired guests. On top of that, we also need to think about how to design a boardwalk that is able to adapt to changing ocean conditions, especially since we know that sea levels are slowly rising. With those criteria for success in mind, we can now think about the constraints that we will have to work within. We want to design a historic looking boardwalk that fits within the historical look of the cottages. So that means that we cannot create a boardwalk that involves hardened features like a seawall. Instead, we want to make sure that it is constructed with natural materials. So now that you know a little bit more about the criteria for success and the constraints for the boardwalk design, continue on by creating your own design brief.